10th. This is Jeff Davenport live, brought to you by the Ed Morse Automotive Group, Sierra Vista and Cochise County, backed by Morse. We're live at the Sierra Vista Airport today because we have some very special folks who are coming in. Of course, we're standing next to Sheriff Mark DANNELS and next to the State of Arizona Department of Homeland Security Director Kim O'Connor. Kim, it's lovely to meet you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us before you head on out for your adventure. You mentioned before we went live that, first of all, let's talk about your role. How long have you been with the State of Arizona, the Department of Homeland Security here?
Well, thank you so much for having us today. I'm Kim O'Connor. I currently serve as the director of the Arizona Department of Homeland Security. I've been in that role now for just about a year and a half.
That's amazing. And so you were based out of the East Coast originally, but well, Arizona was your home originally, and then you had the opportunity, thanks to a call made by a certain high-ranking individual to say you get to go back home to Arizona.
That's absolutely correct. I spent about 15 years in DC, 11 of that with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So incredibly thankful to be back home in Arizona, now serving as the director at the Arizona Department of Homeland Security.
What does it mean to know that, to have opportunities like this? This is not your first rodeo down here at the border, coming down to Cochise County. What does it mean as someone who is on a federal level in Phoenix, where most people say, you're from Sierra Vista? Oh, where in California is that? That's what they say. But you know where Sierra Vista is. You know Cochise County. What does it mean to have an opportunity like this, to continue staying in contact with our top cop here, Sheriff Mark DANNELS, and see firsthand the things that are going on the border?
Being able to be here firsthand and to have the partnerships, the relationships like we have with Sheriff DANNELS is incredible. So being able to bridge some of that work that we've done at a federal level into the state has been just an amazing opportunity. And it feels good to be able to do this at home. So.
And watching that collaboration, Sheriff Mark, between the federal and the state, having people like Kim in these positions, to be able to take them on the adventure and give them literally a firsthand look at what's been happening here on the border. How important? Let's kind of swing this way a little bit so we can get a good lighting here. What does that mean to have Kim and her team end up coming down here?
Well, I've always said it, shared relationships, state, local, and federal, working together only serves the best of the communities that expect to be living where there's good quality of life and they're safe. And that's what this is all about. And I want to add this on to Director O'Connor, the fact that the Arizona Sheriff Association came out in support for her confirmation. We actually testified for her confirmation. I personally testified at that, in the fact that we like what she does. She's been very engaging to sheriff. She's been very good to us, but we have to work in partnerships. She has an optics bigger than ours, but at the end of the day, it's all about serving communities.
And for serving communities, we had the governor here last week. And so is this that time of year where everybody just kind of comes down here, or was this planned, or is it just happened to fall this way? And how did the time with the governor go?
Well, let me just say this. They reached out to us, the governor's office, say, hey, can we come down and see you guys? We want to talk to law enforcement. And we, of course, we open the door for that. We do. The state's been a good partner with us when it comes to working side by side. We went through a tough time in the last 4 years under the former administration, and it's been very tough. But the state never turned its back on us. And so we embrace that, truly, from Governor Ducey to Governor Hobbs, and now having our state department heads and cabinet members down here working side by side with us. This is all about keeping Arizona safe. It truly, at the end of the day, and people can throw politics into it. They can disagree all they want, but at the end of the day, my job is to make sure that I'm keeping them safe and doing it in an efficient and effective way. Director O'Connor has been a big factor in doing that with us.
And Kim, looking at the changes that have happened, so you've been in this position for a year. Obviously, this last year, there's been a lot of different changes that have gone on a federal level that have affected us on the border here. What are some of the key points that you've seen to make our border safer over the past year?
I think one of the areas, and it's what Sheriff DANNELS has touched on, that I'm incredibly proud of, are those partnerships, the collaboration that we have across the board. It's putting the politics aside, having those relationships to ensure that we're doing the best for the citizens of Arizona.
And looking at today, we won't get into specific details of where you're going, but what's in store for a visitation like this today?
We're going to take them to the border, both aerial and on the ground, show them some things, some interest points that they want to look at, things we want to show them that are interested to us that we share with them, and then just talk through it. What can we do better? What can they do better for us, and vice versa? And as we build these partnerships, as Director O'Connor said.
And Director O'Connor is not just the only dignitary here. There's a few others that are coming in for this day, including a general who is here as well. I don't know if she's available to say hi, or if she's.
We'll try to get her, at least introduce herself. Let me see if we can get her in. I'm going to go find the rest of the dignitaries, and then you keep speaking.
You go find that. Kim, what does it mean to be someone who's from Arizona, to go literally to the top of your profession in DC and then come back home? They say you can't, who says you can't go home, right?
You can definitely go back home, and to be back home is incredible. And so to be here, to be able to take some of the experiences from DC and to bring those to bear here is certainly an amazing opportunity.
You know, I've heard the phrase, all politics is local. I like to think that things that Sheriff Mark does or things that you do affect me much more than anything that happens on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue or in the halls of Congress, to a certain extent. I mean, obviously there are things that are done there that can certainly affect us, but having local politics and that local contact, how different is that from when you were in DC dealing on the quote unquote national level, even though you still work for, you know, the overall government, the federal government instead of the state government? How are the differences that you see in those two mediums coming together?
What you touched on was keeping things local, and having that incredible partnership with the Arizona Sheriff's Association has really helped us leverage to make sure that we are utilizing the resources that we have within the state at a local level. And we're able to allocate those grants and the funding out to the local entities that need it the most.
And what is it that you're looking most forward to today? You've done this before. Is there something new that maybe you want to see today that you haven't seen before? Or is it just reiterating the previous visits?
It's really at this point taking a look at the current landscape and continuing to have those conversations of how can we do the best. Landscapes change, tactics change, and so how do we learn and make sure that we're adapting as others are?
Well, Kim, it's awesome to talk to you. Sheriff Mark?
So the general and the other team already took off.
They're already gone.
They're gone. They're hitting
already
this tour.
outta here.
They got a big day ahead.
Yeah.
Their agenda's pretty full. So yeah, we're heading out of here too. But thank you, Jeff. Thank you, QFM. Thank you, John, for all you guys do and helping us push this out and stuff and building these partnerships. Also.
Well, thank you, Sheriff Mark, on behalf of the Cool F Empire. Thank you for everything you do. And Director O'Connor, lovely to meet you today. Thank you so much to talk to you. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video here, Jeff Davenport Live, brought to you by the Ed Morse Automotive Group. Sierra Vista and all of Cochise County is backed by Morse. These are the folks who are keeping us safe, working every day to make sure that our county is as safe as it can possibly be. Have a safe trip and a great time today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing. Take care, everybody. We'll check in with you again later on. Awesome. Pleasure.